If you're a fan of the Sly Guy podcast and want just a little bit more slyness in your weekly calendar, go on over to patreon.com/Sly Guy podcast for bonus content, extra podcasts, and also for the forum to submit content for the Sly Dig on the Sly Guy podcast. So if you want to support this podcast, to help you, to help us, to help everyone else, only love, head over to patreon.com/Sly Guy podcast. Enjoy the show.
I'm the Sly Guy.
Good evening, morning, afternoon, whenever, middle of the night to some people even listen, who knows. Welcome to the podcast. It is me, it is I, it is Davey, and first and foremost I just want to apologise to all the listeners. Normally at that point you would drop a wee Conor McGregor and go for absolutely nothing, but genuinely I do want to apologise this week because the sound that came out of my mouth last week in the podcast was horrendous. I had the cold, I had a blocked nose, I was miserable, I snuffled my way through an episode, which, by the way, Ben, did you listen to any of it back? Was it even worth listening to in any sort of way?
I thought it was pretty good, to be fair.
You thought it was pretty, but what about the sound? It was very, I sounded like I was like in like some sort of Blink-182 tribute band, speaking like this all day.
You did.
Wasn't nice. But yeah, how was the edit process for you?
Yeah, it was interesting.
Interesting, hence why there's no videos to put on social media. Is that why?
Yeah.
This guy it's all guys on a holiday last week. It's fair enough. I was sick. I'll let it fly. But yeah, I just want to say sorry because I know one thing. I would not have listened if it was me and I had heard the sound of my voice. I'd have gone, nah, not for me this week. Disgusting. Whoever that pig is that decided to speak into a microphone with a voice like that. You know what they should do? Cut their own throat with a rusty tin opener. But that's just me. But anyway, guys, I'm feeling a lot better this week. I'm going as far as to say I'm almost better. Not entirely better, but almost better. It would be sad if it was fully better. It would be a bit shit, wouldn't it? I wouldn't have anything to complain about. But listen, it is what it is. Now, hopefully, moving forward, by next week I'll be 100% better. And you know the way they say karma is a thing that happens. I don't know the exact definition of karma, but I think like if you do something good things come onto you, and if you do something bad things come onto you. I'm going to say I'm due really good news because I helped an old lady from falling over on my actual way to do the podcast. Now, whenever I actually dissect what happened to her, was it potentially my fault that she fell on hard cobbled ground? Yes. Very possibly. And why is that? Now, whenever you come into my office, our office it's very much like something you would find in a kind of like a 60s superhero film. You know, like in the old, like nowadays, in all like Marvel and they all have these massive, expensive mansions and lairs, all the superheroes. Whereas like back in the 60s, they always had secret hideouts that were like behind bushes and stuff. And like bushes would lift up and you drive under, stuff like that. Our office here is like, it's built into an archway, so you'd be like, where is this? You'd be like, oh, my office is down there, and you just point to an alleyway. Unbeknownst to other people, there's doors in the alleyway. It's very sexy. So I was coming like in to record a studio. I was a bit late this week, and Ben was in giving me jip, being like, I'm up here and I'm all cold and all. And I was like, well, I'm sorry, Ben, but I'll be there in 2 seconds. Sorry. And as I was sort of rushing, I was wearing this sweet yoga jacket that I got. By the way, new yoga jacket. Have you ever heard of a yoga jacket before, Ben? I have not, personally speaking.
I have heard for a woman, yeah.
Yeah, well, for a woman, yeah. Well, you know what? It's 2021 and women and men no longer exist. There is no gender. There's no sexuality. There is no consent. Is that right? Is that a thing, or I've just gone too far?
Maybe a bit too far.
There are no such thing as animals anymore. We are all one species. So if you want to identify as anything, you identify as that. And if you want to have sex with any animal, you can do it with consent, because Ben says that still matters. But anyway, I had this on. It was all zipped up. I had my wee earpods in, and because it was chilly in the willy, I had my hood up. So I was coming in this wee dark alleyway like this with my earphones in, trying to like get into a hole in the wall at the door. And then, like, because of my head set in, I wasn't really hearing things, but I saw this older lady, and she was trying to get into another like shop place in the archway. And you know, you sort of like I left her to it or whatever, and I could sort of see her like just moving like a wee rollator to go into this thing. I thought, good to see. She's out of the house at this time of night, nice one. And then I was just trying to go in. But then, as I go to put my key in, she just falls backwards, like Nature Boy Ric Flair, which, to be fair, anyone doesn't know the wrestling reference, that's a great reference. She fell with the exact same physique, build, stance, and she did the same bump as the Nature Boy with the same hair would do. She went back, there she goes. And I was like, oh fuck, she's falling on really hard ground. This is not going to be great. I pull my hood down, go over to help her. I'm like, are you all right? And she's like, yeah, I'm sweet. And she just kept telling me her weight, which was weird. She's like, I'm 11 stone. I'm like, I don't give a fuck what weight you are. You know, are you okay? She's like, I'm 11 stone. You're not going to be able to lift me. And I was like, who said anything about lifting you? I just wanted to know if you're all right. And get yourself up. I don't care. But she was like, oh, no. I'm 11, so I'm like, well, are you okay? Because it looked like the sort of fall that a woman of that age, you know, usually the sort of process of old people falling is go, hip, dead. You know, it sort of falls into the same. So she's like, no, I'm all right. I was able to help her up, get her in a rollator. I sent her away. She's like, I'm 11 stone. I'm like, bitch, I'm double that. Don't worry about it. Got her up. Popped her in, and that was all right. And she just went in to do whatever she was doing. Now, hopefully she's all right, because I did tell her that if she was in any trouble, to shout up in our hallway and we would come and help her. But then I realised that we come into like a, you know, up 4 flights of stairs, and it's soundproof room, the door's shut, so she's probably just fucked. But all I'm saying is I deserve to be better from my illness for helping that lady. Now, with hindsight, from her point of view, did she see a large guy in a black outfit with a hood up coming down an alleyway after her and perhaps try to panic to get into whatever door she was trying to get into and therefore fall? Very possibly. But you know what? At least I was there, and she called me her guardian angel, and I said, that's weird because I'm not dead. Guardian angels, aren't they dead? Or do they like live in heaven, or what do they do? Like, I don't know whether a guardian angel is an actual thing, or just people always say people that they're dead or the guardian angel.
Just a type of angel that is assigned to protect and guide.
But the angels are normally dead, like, aren't they?
Let me just...
Or like, what is the definition of an angel? Is it like whoa, who thought we would be getting this deep? Is an angel like a spirit of someone that's dead? Or like, what happened to, like, you know, Lucifer? Remember, he was an angel, and then God was like, you're going to hell, mate, to be the devil. And he's like, fuck's sake, all right. But what was an angel back in the day? Was it someone that died?
You asked me to look up the definition of...
Yeah, I want to know the definition of an angel, but make sure you write it in English and not in Spanish, because then that's just a dude. Angel. It's weird.
A spiritual being believed to be an act as an attendant, agent, or messenger of God, represented in human form with wings and a long robe. Right,
okay. So basically what it is, it's a representative of God. So yeah, it's kind of just, it's a God impersonator with... So why then when people die, like, you're going to be my wee angel? Like, why do people do that? Angels, you finally got your wings. What if you don't believe in God and you die and you're like, oh, well, I'm not a representative of God now. This is a fucking job I didn't sign up for. Doesn't make any sense. What is it? Pardon?
Not really, no. But
no, it makes no sense. And then what happens, like, I remember, like, this person I knew whose granny died, and obviously put it on Facebook and all. And this is another thing. Oh, Jesus Christ. Sorry to use your name in vain when we're talking about your foot soldiers here, bro. But see, whenever people put pictures on social media of, like, a grandparent that dies, instead of just a photo of them with their grandparent, it's a photo of their grandparents in the hospital about to die, their wee hands, and they're holding their hands. Hey, guys, come on. Don't do that. Like, with it, gone to heaven. It's like, just show a photo of them, and you know what I mean? Have you ever done that? You're looking at me like I've done that. You're looking at me like I've done that and I've offended you.
No.
Good, thank God.
I don't even think I put a picture up on Facebook.
Yeah, because, like, see, whenever my granny was dying, like, I remember looking at her hands, being like, I mean, you have definitely been avoiding the oil of Olay. Like, there's no one putting that on my social media. People be fucking taking the piss out of me, being like, oh, the crypt keeper's looking shit, isn't she? I'm like, well, woman's in her 90s and just fucking died, like. But people that do that, and I mean, you hate to be a classist or judge people on anything, but it's, you know, it's always the smicks. You know, it's always the smicks. My wee granny's going to meet my granda in heaven. And you're probably like, well, your granda probably kicked 7 bells of shit out of her when she was here. So, I mean, but my wee granny's my guardian angel. What a shit guardian angel. You know, if you're ever in trouble, say you're out for a night out and a group of fellas start beating the fuck out of you, who's going to descend? A wee 90-year-old granny, stop hitting him! And I'll be like, fuck you way off. Oh my goodness me. Wee guardian angel. So I'm the wee guardian angel of this woman. And I mean, what would be a mug off to me would be if, like, on the way home, I just got to my front door and there's a wee package at my front door and it was just a wee white robe and a pair of wings. And God was like, listen, unfortunately for you, you're no longer the dad of these two girls and the husband of this wife and the owner of this dog. That's no longer your most important role in life. You're now the female Ric Flair's guardian angel. Woo! I mean, what a turn of events. But all I know is that I did a nice thing. I helped her. And by the way, when she says 11 stone, very kind to herself. Probably more 14. She's a big lump. And that's another thing. See, nowadays, how do you lift people? You know, luckily for me, I was able to just deadlift her. I just grabbed her by, you know, the good thing about old people as well, Ben, I don't know if you've noticed this, but their skin gets a lot looser. So you don't have to, like, see now if you grab my neck, it's a big thick fat neck. You need, that's like fat grips on a barbell. But with an old lady, it's just like loose skin, kind of like, you know, just the jaws of a dog. So I was able to just grab her by the skin of her neck and her pubes and just lift her up and pop her on, and that was fine. Easy to do. You know, no, actually, obviously didn't really. I had to go from behind her and had to go behind this old lady and like scoop her up. But then again, you can't use your hands. You know, you can't like get around and grab them like you will in case you're like, oh, he touched me inappropriately. So I'm like lifting her kind of, you know, Buffalo Bill when he does that dance in the Silence of the Lambs. Doo-doo. Like this, lifting her by my hands. Goodbye, horses. It puts lotion on. You know, like it was just, it was weird. But I popped her up, put her in, was like, listen, holler at your boy. I said, holler at your boy. Done. If you need any help. And again, I don't know, I haven't heard any shouts from there. Have you? No? You got the headphone on, so I don't know if that's more sensitive to sound or less.
I think she's alright.
I mean, fair play to her, because what time is it? Like 8 o'clock? It's probably 8:30 of a night. She's out doing some fucking knitting, so respect her. I think a lot of old people get disrespected too often about not having activities. You know, they just sit in their wee house and eat their, you know, what do old people eat? Old people eat fudge, don't they? Fucking love fudge. Rich teas, fudge. They love Madeira cakes, don't they? They get a certain age, they're like, oh, I love a Madeira cake, me. Cups of tea, they fucking absolutely bang at him. They love Ribena as well, the old bastards. Ribena and Lucozade. Don't know why the older folk be like, you know, that's, I like, they're the same generation. They'll be like, listen, you drink Buckfast if you've got a sore throat.
Were the originals, or are they all out now?
See, were there's originals? It used to be an old person thing.
Yeah.
Kind of got taken over by the pedos. The pedos were kind of like, listen, this is going to be our pedo suite. Which again, pedos, if there's any pedophiles listening to the podcast, kids don't like Werther's. Just because you like the Werther's doesn't mean the kids. If you want to get the kids, you need to get fucking sherbet dips. And maybe, well, here's an idea. Why don't you dip your Walt in it and be like, here, suck that. You know, and that'll be the fucking way. I mean, listen, this is why this podcast is for everybody. It's for everybody to listen to. If you are a pedo or not, you're welcome to listen as long as you give a 5-star review. What you do in your private life, I don't care, but also don't. But yeah, don't try to lure children with sweets that you like, you know, it just wouldn't work. You know, like if I was trying to lure a child with the stuff that I like to eat, you know, it would be like a very fancy Italian meal, you know, it'd be like very nice, some sort of really like a nice like garlic chicken or a chicken parmesan or something, you know, try to lure the children with that, you know, come on in, I've got you a real nice piece of ribeye steak, come on in. They'd be like, nah, you just give me a fucking Space Raider or something. I'd be like, no, or Tip Top. I'm like, nah, I can't, because you're eating what I'm not going to buy stuff, because then people will know if people come in and look at my larder and say I've bespoke like I've child bait in my cupboard, I'll get in trouble. Whereas if they come in and be like, oh wow, look at this guy, he has Ferrero Rocher in there. You're not going to be, like, no one's going to think you're luring kids with Ferrero Rocher, too expensive. You know, don't be at that. And by the way, also remember this is a comedy podcast. Don't be phoning PS9. Be like, you were, am I at PS9, Mr. Elliot? And I'd be like, yes. And this is the way every PS9 person speaks. Mr. Elliot, yes. I have been led to believe that you are operating some sort of paedophilic lecturing service on your podcast. You're offering tidbits of advice to sex offenders. I'd be like, well, I mean, yes, I technically that is true, but I know the majority of my listeners aren't paedophiles, apart from that one guy that left that negative comment a few weeks ago on YouTube. You definitely are a pedo and you sort your life out, but everyone else are not. It's not a pedo service, so you know what I mean. Like, well, good, we'll be keeping an ear on your podcast, and do you have any shows coming up? Like, yeah, I'm doing the Ulster Hall. Well, we'll better bloody well get free tickets to that to make sure that paedophiles don't come. I'll be like, well, yeah, you know, paedophiles won't come if they're looking at me, but you know, maybe if they go to like the Tweenies or something at the Ulster Hall, maybe they will have a good time. But I don't even know, Ben. Why did I end up talking about paedophiles? Like, where did that even come from?
Something about sweets.
Sweets, old people and their sweets. That's what
right.
it was. The food that old people like, and spam. They love spam. They love Madeira cakes and spam. Write it down. That's this week's podcast episode name. There we go. But that's what the old folk like. And brown sugar. They always have brown sugar in their houses. And they don't even eat sugar, but always have brown sugar. Love soda bread. You know, you ask any old person, you'd be like, would you like a wee something? They'd be like, guess a wee toasted soda or jam. You'd be like, okay, good luck to you. Toasted soda or jam on a cup of tea. And a fucking slice of Madeira cake. And one of those biscuits that are, you know, they're like this shape. They look like you know, the old, like they're round at the end. And they look like there's a wee, like, is it a shortbread? You know, they're like a rectangle with rounded ends.
Not a nice biscuit.
Oh, they love those sort of. No, it's not a nice biscuit. It's more like it looks like it's like, you know, if you were to draw a willy, it's like a top of a willy, but two top. It's like a double-ended short willy. The old people love that as well.
I'm going to let you go ahead and Google that.
I'm not going to Google that because I think already the government have chipped me because I have my double vaccination anyway. So I'm already chipped. They're listening to me offering advice for pedos. I don't want to be typing in double-ended dicks and pensioners like in their mouth because, hey, you could end up in a world of trouble down there. But I mean, they like sucking as well, old people, don't they? Because they take your dentures out and just suck. So they like hard-boiled sweets, brandy balls, you know, butter balls. Love it.
Do you not like brandy balls?
Who?
You?
Yeah. I mean, I also like sucking, so yeah, of course.
There
Like
you go.
brandy balls. Remember there was a time when you were producing the Boytown podcast, you had to actively shout at me for sucking brandy balls on the podcast?
You decided it was a perfect opportunity to sit there and have like a whole bag of them.
Yeah, I sat in a bag of balls on the podcast just sucking brandy balls, not realising that it made for a bad sound.
Yeah. And it took quite a while to convince you that
Yeah.
was awful sounding.
Because you know what? Because here's the thing. Sometimes, like, you see me drinking my water there if you're watching the podcast on YouTube. If you're listening, you probably hear me. Maybe you just think I've just got really wet jaws, like a big fucking dog, like a big St. Bernard or something. Just listening to this in your ears. But no, I was drinking water because whenever you're just talking flat out without really taking a breath, your mouth dries. So I thought to myself, here, what makes me wet? A brandy ball. So I'm sucking a brandy ball. I'll have a wet mouth. It'll just be the most lubed oration hole you've ever seen in your life. I'll just be orating lubed content for a whole hour. But no, apparently it bangs off my teeth. Yeah. Sounds bad. The noise you make, because you're not breathing through your mouth when you're sucking, you breathe through your nose, which means you can't give BJs when you've got a cold. Ruin my anniversary. And you know that's the thing. You know, they have to kind of, so you have to breathe out your nose when you're sucking. So you're like, so anyone listening to this, sorry if you don't like it. You know, so I mean, that amongst with just oral gold. You know, that was, I mean, and that's what I give to people. Oral gold. Scrap the old name of the podcast. Oral gold is what this episode's called. Which oral gold also sounds like a biscuit a pensioner would eat. Oh, and he's brought it back. Somehow brought it back. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I am a master podcaster, a master solo podcaster, a genius, a comedy genius, an entity, and anybody that says that I don't have the personality or ability to hold up a solo podcast by myself can seriously put moisturiser on their scrotum loosen it up, stretch it, knead it like it's pasta, knead it like it's homemade pasta. Oh, and force your scrotum up their asshole. Because this is what we do here on the Sly Guy podcast. We take a blank, empty, voidless whiteboard and we come up with shit on the spot. And this is what we're getting. Ben, listen, see you over there. How many notes are you making about gold? How many notes are you making of oral gold this week? How many things you like? This could be a clip. This could be a clip. Tidbit, tidbit, tidbit. Clip, clip, clip. How many?
I'm just looking at the board thinking, have we touched anything that you planned to this week?
No, we haven't, because sometimes you come in with a blank slate, you know. Sometimes you come in. I'm like one of these, you know, like these old artists, say like, I don't know, fucking Michelangelo or somebody, and he's just got a big block of marble. You know, I'm like a guy with a big block of marble. And you know what, I've come in today, I've been like, you know what, I'm not in the mood to do any art. Then all of a sudden, big inspiration strikes, and guess what? Michelangelo has indelibly etched a piece of art into this marble for all eternity. And you know what the art always entails? Guys with ripped bodies and small dicks, which is kind of like me. I'm a ripped guy with a small dick covered in a fat suit.
The thing is, people don't realise is tomorrow I'm going to get a random text from you going like, oh, but about spam was really funny.
Yeah.
Can you make that into a clip?
Yeah. Well, you know what? You could definitely make into a clip anything about what old people like, because and you can get the stuff that old people like. You can get old people food. You can get advice for pedophiles, but definitely don't clip that, because I'm not going to put that out, because then the PSNI will be on me. Oh, you can get guardian angels. You can get white smicks, like the stroke of wee granny's hand. My wee granny's in heaven. He's gone in heaven. Roselawns, where she wants to. Is that? She's in a better place now. Yeah, in a sodden hill in Roselawn Cemetery. R.I.P. Or if you want to mix it up, I don't know, give me another name. Give me one that's the prods go to Roselawn and the Catholics. What's the one go? What's there? Oh my goodness, I'm a mudblood and I can't even remember what the go to. Oh no.
A few moments later.
Don't tell me. I'm going to get this. Is it Milltown?
Correct.
Say what you want about me. I know my interdenominational burial plots, okay? And you know what? I said I was going to say the city cemetery earlier, but it didn't. All right, you know who gets buried at the city cemetery? Jewish people. They have a plot there too, so I know of all sides. And I'm a man of the people. I don't see religion, you know. Yes, technically I'm a Protestant, whatever. But you know what? I've been brought up on the fence. I've got splinters in my butt. And maybe that explains why I like things in my butt as a grown-up guy. But as a young man, splinters in my butt, I was all for that. And you know what? Another thing I'm not all for, since we're talking about religion, which by the way I'm not. I don't identify as anything. I just am what I am. But why are people burning buses now in 2021? Like what is that for? I've seen it happening. I know it's something to do with this protocol, which I don't quite understand either, because is that not what was voted for? I don't know. It seems like very much like, we want our cake, we want to eat our cake. Oh no, our cake's giving us the shits because we're lactose intolerant. Fucking stupid. Burning buses do nothing. Thuggery does nothing. It just makes rational thinking people go, oh, you truly are bollockses, aren't you? Fucking. How much does it cost a bus when you burn it?
How much does it cost to burn a bus? Or how
No,
much does
fuck,
a
I know
bus
how much it
cost?
costs to burn a bus. I could burn a bus for nothing if I wanted. I was bored, like. See, after this, if I get angry enough for this, I'll just go out and burn a bus. I'll be like, I hate burning buses, but then I get so angry, I'll just do it. I heard a thing somewhere is almost $250,000 a bus cost.
So the cost of an average bus is about 250 to 280,000.
Yeah, so $250,000 for a bus, and he's burn it. And again, here's the thing: see, if you're going to burn buses, I've given advice to paedophiles in this week's podcast, and now I'm going to give advice to arsonists. See, if you're going to burn buses, go and burn buses in a different community than one you live in. It's stupid. You're affecting your own community and your own services by burning the buses. I'm sure Translink are going to go on strike now, quite rightly so. Or you know what they should do? Murk people. They should give bus drivers tasers, or like a thing that whenever people come into their bus that they don't want, they hit a button and a fucking taser shoots them. So these lads come in their balaclavas and you just chase them all. Boom, boom, boom. What do you try?
And you had a castle, you used to come out of the castle and there'd be a wee bit, like a
Oh,
poor
why?
tower down.
Yeah,
you
that
had
was
that, so you
great.
come in and you just close the door and then just...
I mean, that was proper, like, that was proper good banter back in the day, wasn't it? Like, that was proper crack. In the castles, it'd be like, come on up the front door, sure. And you're like, are you sure you're not going to fucking get me? And you're like, why? Look, with archers in the top, if we wanted to get you, we'd shoot you with the archers. Come on in the front. Now, are you sure there's none at this front door? Yes. And then you come in, they just pour boiling fat on you. Ah! And then they're like, going, oh, got ya, April 1st. Yeah, bastard. But yeah, castles were sly places. There a lot of like, I mean, what I like is there must have been just a bastard in every castle in terms of like the design process. Like a wee sassy guy who always sat like this. You know, you're building a castle, you'd be like, right, this is how you stop people getting in here. And then the sassy bastard's like, but how can you hurt people? And they're like, what do you mean? It's like, well, we've got people to shoot them, but how do we hurt them? And obviously they speak German because the Germans are the most nastiest of all the bastards. And like, what we should do is make a little hole to pour down the goose fat, burn the faces and kills them. And then what else can we pour down there? If you want to be really crude, you can piss on them too. And you'd be like, great. Get them. And then the spikes that drop down on their heads. Like, remember how good the olden days used to be? They used to behead people and they used to hang them and they used to fucking hang, draw and quarter them, like slow slicing. That was good banter, wasn't it?
Didn't hijack buses back in there, did they?
Exactly, didn't hijack buses. And you didn't see them hijacking the trains either. You know, like the trains of like horses and cars. Couldn't hijack that. You know what I mean? Exactly. Because you know why? Because they were booby trap buses. Translink, listen, get me in, booby trap the buses. You're flying. That's what you need to do. Booby trap the buses. Trap doors. That'd be another good one. Oh fuck, that'd be the worst. Imagine you had a trap door in a bus, and then the people are like, mate, get off your bus. We're going to burn it. And then all of a sudden the bus driver just goes, are you? Hit the trap door, and because the bus is that far off the ground, it'd fall on their ankles, and then he'd just drive, and their ankles would be broken all be and it'd just be so sore.
They'd have to like run.
Yeah, they'd have to run like the Flintstones, and if they weren't fast enough, just ankles, shins, femurs, everything just fucked. It'd be brutal, and they'd be like, try and hijack it now, you know. And then imagine that though. That'd be the worst if you knew that there was like certain, you didn't know what booby traps are on the buses. Different buses, different booby traps. So whenever you're actually going on to try and wreck the place, you're and you know how you know you're on a booby trap bus. You come walking in, and the bus driver's at the side, and you just walk on. The bus driver goes, and you're like, oh no, we're fucked, aren't they? And then bam, hit a button, and out of nowhere, like fucking axe swings down and lobs your head off. But you know, it'd be awkward. You'd have kids on the bus too, and you'd have fucking wee kids that fuck with everything and mess things up, and then you'd just hit it by accident. You'd be like, oh bollocks, tried hit the wrong button, and then next thing you know, fucking bus just cuts in half, and the back of the bus just falls back, ruins it. So yeah, like booby trap buses, paedophiles get sweets the kids want, and I mean, what else? I don't know. I don't even think I want to talk. Like, what did I have to talk about? There's a guy who was having sex with corpses in a mortuary. I wanted to give off about that, but I feel like I've spoken enough about people being freaks on this podcast so far. This has been the most random episode maybe of all time. But there you go. The Sly Guy podcast is brought to you by Phat Bastrd Burger. Phat Bastrd Burger is the sister company of our longtime friends, a multi-award-winning burrito bar in the high street in Bangor, Bebe Adrianos. Burger patties nowadays, Ben. What do you say about burger patties? You go anywhere, you go to get a burger patty. How would you describe the actual patty in a burger?
Small and thin.
Small and thin, and nobody wants something small and thin in their mouth. Am I right? You want something girthy, you want something fat, and the burgers at Phat Bastrd Burgers are exactly that. The beef in Phat Bastrd Burgers are 100% Wagyu beef. You know what Wagyu beef is? Fat. Delicious, amongst the most sought after luxurious meats in the world, which makes it special with delicious marble in its taste. But also, shockingly enough, Wagyu meat is actually healthier for you as well. So if you want to try not only delicious, fat, tasty, juicy, meaty burgers, but you want a wee bit of health in there too, go to Phat Bastrd Burger. Now, if you want something healthy, listen to these names: the Phat Bastrd, the cheesy Phat Bastrd, the porky Phat Bastrd, the Ringo Stingo, the fat as fuck duck, crazy for cock, which by the way doesn't actually have any wagyu beef, it's just chicken, and the cauliflower and quinoa for any of the vegans out there. But hey, if you're going to go to a wagyu burger bar, don't be getting the vegan choice. Come on, don't be at it. But if you want to know more, you want to get your mouth around this, I've tried a Phat Bastrd burger, and by the way, delicious. They're like, the actual burger is that thick. They've got delicious relish on it, which is fucking gorgeous in and of itself. A nice, it's not brioche bap, it's what are those other nice soft baps called? You know, burgers are, it's not brioche. But I don't know, but it's really soft and it's really nice. It has the logo burnt on top. That's pretty cool as well. And it comes in one of these delicious boxes. And if you like, you know, if you like big fat pieces of meat coming in pretty sweet boxes, the Phat Bastrd Burger is the place for you. And while we're talking about Phat Bastrd Burger, let's talk about the sister company, the original essay, Bebe Adrianos. And this time of year, normally I don't appreciate this at this early in the year. Christmas, nah, but at Bebe Adrianos, it's Christmas already. And you know what that means, Ben? The Christmas wrap is back. And people say, what is in the Christmas wrap? Let me tell you: turkey, ham, stuffing, sweet potato fries, crunchy chicken, cranberry, mayo, lettuce, chipolata sausages, all inside a 12-inch wrap. I'm saying that, my mouth is watering. If you want to get 10% off your first order, either download the Bebe Adrianos app or the Phat Bastrd Burger app, or call 02891479988 and say you heard it here in the Sly Guy podcast. Phat Bastrd Burger, delicious, tasty, fat, girthy meat in your mouth that makes you go, oh yeah. The Sly Guy podcast is also brought to you in association with Modest Beer. Modest are an independent brewery crafting small batch beers for discerning drinkers. Modest have been our ride or die bitch from day one. They've had our back. We've been here with them. They're here with us. We're here with them. And we're going to have another range coming in so soon. These cans you see behind us are still on the rip, but there's new ones coming in too. Sexier, sleeker, delicious. If you want to know more about Modest Beer, go to www.modestbeer.co.uk or hit them at Modest Beer on Instagram, Twitter, and or Facebook for some more Modest content. And if you want, you can rate and review our podcast over on Apple Podcasts. Get on over, give a 5-star review. If you rate and review the podcast, we'll rate it out here in the podcast. I still actually have to force myself to do autofellatio because I've got over 200 reviews now and 5-star, and it's a great achievement and whatever. But Ben, I'm trying to do the yoga. I've got the yoga top. I just need the yoga moves to be able to, you know, autofellate, which, by the way, sounds like a real dope new metal band. Autofellate are playing the Knotfest next year, you know. So, oh, nice, sweet. And then not Autofellate would also be the sort of band like, you know, Marilyn Manson. You know, people are like, oh, Marilyn Manson's into pretty dodgy sex stuff. And you're like, whoa, that guy's into weird sex stuff? Oh, shocking. Oh, apparently the guys in Autofellate suck their own dicks. Oh, what? Pretty weird, but please rate and review the podcast on Apple Podcasts. We do appreciate it. Also, what I appreciate are sales to my Ulster Hall show. We're nearly opening the balcony. I've been saying this for weeks now, but it's teasing me. It's like tweaking, it's tasting. Oh, it's so close. The balcony's getting open soon. Get on over to any of my social media accounts. All the links to my Ulster Hall show are there. Also, see when people are like, mate, where do I get tickets to your show? Google my name, Dave Elliott, and then Google Ulster Hall, and then boom, buy tickets. It's magic, it's sexual, it's hot. Speaking of things that are magical, R.I.P. Astro from UB40. Sad day for myself and the Loyalist community with the passing of Astro from UB40. The Sly Dig. This week I have had 3 suggestions. And you know what? Have I got annoyed about anything here this week? No, just people commenting on YouTube. That's a fucking... Wasn't going to talk about it, but you know what? They don't want. I'm not going to be silenced for the fucking... from haters. You know what haters can do? Kill themselves. There you go. That's all I care. J Red has said delivery drivers. I have a doorbell and a letterbox, but they knock the glass on my front door, really gets under my skin. Here's the thing, I don't know if this is a thing nowadays, but I don't like it when people ring my doorbell. I'd rather knock. What about, how do you feel in this, Ben? What's your thoughts on the matter?
Well, my dog goes absolutely mental anytime anyone comes near the door, so
Yeah.
I'd rather they just set it down. Like,
Fuck off.
I can see
your
you're
face.
here.
I'd rather you set it down and fuck off, mate. How's about that for something? Whereas, you know what, I just would rather, I'd rather people just not come to my door.
Just put it down, walk back, stand at the top of the driveway and give me a thumbs up, and I go, I do thumbs up back, everyone's happy.
Do you have, like, what's your viewing situation in your house? Because I've called to your house a few times, and I remember,
Have you?
sometimes when I knock a door, like, give you money and stuff, and drink
Sometimes
money.
you just stand there.
Yeah, sometimes I do, but, like, I remember one day I rang a doorbell, and it was like, is anyone home? But then I could see one of your children just, like, looking out the window, being like, all right, mate. And I was like, look, they're too young to be there by themselves, so I'm sure there's an adult here somewhere. And then your wife came, and then I think eventually she summoned the king, and you got off your throne and hung up your wee robe and put your crown on the side table and said, yes, what can I do you for? And I said, oh, well, it's just, we need to give you this bag of money for all those E's I sold for you. But yeah, like in my house, normally I can see out the door from the kitchen. I can see out from the living room as well. But like normally I'm quite quick. I would be the door guy in our house, because my wife, who is very much a feminist and very much loves to boast about being the main breadwinner in the family, because, oh, I'm a nurse and you know what? I thought nurses were supposed to be poorly paid. This bitch gets at me like, oh, I'm a well-paid nurse. Well, keep that under your hat or people will steal you. They will steal you like a golden goose. But she's like, I can't go to the door in case they try to kill me. In case it's a murderer, you have to go. And it's like, why? In case what if I get killed? I'm the famous one. Like, what are you doing? She's like, well, I save people's lives, and I like, so do I, with laughter and joy in their hearts. And what's the most important thing for your cardiovascular health? A functioning heart. And if you have joy in the heart, there's nothing better for your heart than joy, If you actually have clogged arteries, joy will burst all the plaque in all your heart, the joy. I'm essentially a cardiac surgeon for people, all right? But yeah, I answer all the doors, so anytime I'm there I have to be the first one to get the door. Now our dog doesn't give a fuck about the door. Like, he's the worst guard dog ever. He'll just be like, all right, and then like maybe if someone gets into the house, he'll like pop his paws up in the wee gate that's in the kitchen to do that. I don't know how long that'll last there. I thought it was for the kids, but now we might just have to keep it there to keep him locked in the kitchen when he's being a piece of shit. But yeah, so when you come to the door, what's the way to get your attention? Would you like a doorbell ring?
Well, you have to go down where the car's parked, the driveway.
Yeah.
So wherever I'm sitting, you always look out that side of the window. So
they have to
anyone
cross your window to get to the door?
Yeah, so like, I know you're there.
Yeah, see, we were speaking about castles earlier, and I do think to this day, like early geography classes, you learn about like where you want to put a settlement, to be safe. And what I like about my house is I have other houses around me, so like access points for burglars are difficult. You'd have to go through other properties to get to mine. The only real place you can access my house for attack is down the driveway, and I've got a straight up view of that. And also I have one of those, those wee cubby holes where you can pour boiling goose fat on people. So, if I see an Amazon driver that I don't like the way they're driving the van, I'll pour, boiling hot crisp and dry on their bonds. It's like not a second hesitation. Which, by the way, now we're at it, an Amazon driver was delivering a package to my mum and dad during the week, and he reversed directly into a lamppost. And then my mum and dad went out to him. The guy was on his hands and knees crying on the floor. But you know why? Because Jeff Bezos is a monster. They were lying, he was crying, he was like, I'm going to be sacked. And they were like, my mum was like, don't you worry, mister. You'll have the guardian angel somewhere to look out for you, And he was like, no, you've damaged the fan, they'll sack me and look at someone else. And my dad just went, I'd sack you for being a fucking pansy. Get up and get in your car and piss away off and say some smick did it with a baseball bat or something. And I was like, I like that from my dad. Say some smick did it. Imagine going back to your depot and being like, listen, looks like you've crashed into something. And you'd be like, nah, mate, a smick did it. And you'd be like, makes a lot of sense, don't worry. I mean, like, Jeff Bezos could probably afford to have a wee van fixed, couldn't he? Like, how much money are they making a day in those vans? I'd say, listen, fix a man's van, don't let him cry, don't let him lose a job, Because, you know, do you ever, like, see things happening Ben, to people and you make up a story for them in your head? You'd be like, why are they in this situation? For a lot of times I see Amazon drivers and I think to myself, they're prisoners. They're ex-prisoners. This is their only hope. If they're doing this, they're just out of jail, they can't get jobs elsewhere, and they don't want to end up back in jail again, you know? What are you checking up there? You look like you're researching something.
I was trying to figure out the daily amount that an Amazon driver would make, but obviously...
What's your load like at the minute?
Excuse me?
Your... Sorry, I realise it's quite a weird, like, the load of, like, Amazon orders you would, like... Because, see, during lockdown, like, I was getting at least one package a day from Amazon. It was frequent.
We were like that, but now we're down to about one every 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, someone's ringing me in the middle of the podcast here, and it's Shane Todd. Hold on. Hello?
Hey man, I've rolled the dice.
Oh, yeah, you are quite late, and just in case you're going to say something controversial, middle of recording my podcast here, so...
Oh, well look, don't worry about it, but...
How long will you be? How long will you be? Because I'm wrapping this up, so I could phone you in the next...
I need you to meet me at the docks with...
Okay.
In the next 5 minutes with a bag of lime.
Right.
And...
just would the one I have in the boot of the car do? Would the one I have in the boot do, or do I need a new one?
Yeah, like something to get rid of. I don't want to say what it is, but to get rid of a body or whatever.
Oh, like a body of work. So like one of your old shows, you want deleted from your laptop, so to speak.
No, like as in like potentially hypothetically like a guy.
How like I mean, when I say like a strong person or like weak, young, old, skin,
bald.
Right. Okay.
Guy.
Right. Leave it with me.
I shouldn't have done this.
Right. Don't worry. I'll phone you 10 minutes, guy.
All right. Thanks. Okay.
Bye.
You got...
Yeah, I mean, we're just doing a wee bit of business here. Don't worry about that. But yeah, I don't really mind delivery drivers because ultimately, J-Red, they're delivering us goods. Jenna, I'm gonna have to throw you into the slide deck here personally and say you're annoying me this week. Because you've said people who fire their trolley in any shape. In fact, you know what? Jenna, I am sorry. I thought you were going to say people who just leave their trolley in the aisles. You know what I did there? I judged too soon. I leapt when I should have just looked.
Are you putting yourself in the slide deck now?
No, absolutely not. I'm not one, but shut up. But Jenna, yes, people put their trolley in any bay in the supermarket really boils my piss. How much of a rush are they in that they have to bung their trolley in sideways and run now? I have heard about this happening before. I just want to point out, I only ever shop at Marks and Spencer's, which by the way, the trolleys are returned and clipped in. So they're ordered, you pop a pound in. You know what I actually do? Actually, there's a man who will bring you a trolley in Marks and Spencer's and he give him a tip. He's like dressed in a wee suit, dark green suit that says M&S on it, and he wears like a wee pair of like white gloves, and he'll bring you a trolley and you give him a wee tip and all. Like I normally give him he's only bringing you a trolley, so you're not going to give him anything much, so I normally just drop him a 50 sheet and just say thank you, head into Marks and Spencer's. But the thought of a messy trolley bay would generally, it would make me want to hit the nuclear reactor button, it would just make me want to erase parts of the world, definitely the country, and maybe that's what we need to have at those sort of things too, like the wee sneaky cubby holes they have in castles, but just at supermarkets. What about that? And the last one today, Andy Moore said, when you offer somebody something like a sweet, for example, and they say something like, I'll keep that for later. All he said is seedy, dark, weird as fuck way. Just eat it now like a normal person. Well, I mean, this is the joy of this podcast, isn't it? This is more paedophile thing. See if you're a person who, if you're offered a sweet, and rather than go, oh, thank you, and eat it, if you go, I'll keep that, paedophile. Oh, I'll add this to my collection. Yeah, something not right about you there. You know what the thing to do, that is so bad. See if someone offers you a sweet, you either go, oh, cheers, man, take it and pop it in your mouth, or go, nah, I'm alright, I'll not have a sweet. You don't go, give me that, I'll keep that one for later. Pedos, they're everywhere, in plain sight. Disgusting. Do you ever do that, Ben? Just to point out, do you do that? And you'd be like, I see nothing wrong with keeping a wee sweet there.
No, I don't.
You know, it'd be even weirder. See if they popped it in a handbag or like a rucksack. Oh, that'll do me later.
And if they already had some in the back, they just collect them all up.
Just like a sweet collector. Imagine that. And like you now, there is a potential to keep us. The only one is if they're wrapped up and they're hard. You know, that's the only way to do it. Like, and again, the only things I can think of that are wrapped up and hard that you can keep for later are brandy balls, or Werther's originals. So, you know, I could maybe keep that. And again, I would only ever keep it off like somebody, like my wife, if she said to me, oh, you know, and it would only be to take it off her to spite her. I'd be like, give me, there's one Werther's original left. Would you like that? And I'd be like, rather go, no, you have it. I'll go, yeah, I'll take it, but I'm not going to eat it instantly just because it's a spite thing, you know. That's the best one this week, Andy. Well done. Your surname's Moore. Well, Andy. That made me laugh a lot. I'll keep that for later. What I want you to do is let me know who. It's very specific that someone goes, I'll keep that for later. Who's doing that, please? Let me know. I enjoyed that a lot. Listen, we'll just finish off with listeners' questions because I have to go and help Shane Todd bury a body. John said again, did you play any musical instruments at school? If you had to choose, what would you play? Well, yes, I played the recorder. I think everybody played that. Did you, Ben, at school play a recorder?
I did.
And was that the only instrument you played, or?
Played the flute as well.
Oh, of course you did, the flute. Ew! And what songs did you play on the flute?
Whatever.
Oh, just whatever. Just whatever. Just whatever the North Down Defenders tell you to play. Here, mate, do you know any of those fucking special ones? Oh, what are you looking? Do you know any Jerry Cinnamon, bro? He goes, oh, I'm a flute, of course I do. She's about there. Fucking. Or the Gertrude Starr. Oh, do you know DNA Underworld?
Have you ever heard what a flute sounds like?
Yeah. Is that what it sounds like?
It sounds more like a trumpet.
Yeah, but the only thing about that is I probably, in the flute you just go, don't you just go into the wee hole? Don't you just go on the hole? Into the hole? When I try to play a flute, I just shoved it all in my mouth. And that's the sound it made, you know. That's how I play a flute. That's why I wasn't allowed to join a Loyalist band. Because they're turning up and I just shoving everything in my mouth. This is all the stuff. Get your wee sticker, you know. And there we are. So I might be the first singer in a Loyalist band. Just walking out of the front. I call you when I need you. My heart's on fire. That'd be a first, wouldn't it? I mean, what would be great would be you'd need to be on like a float. You know, do you ever remember like the early WrestleManias? They used to bring like Andre the Giant to the ring in a mini ring. Like he's in a mini. Get this on here, please. Get this on here. It was like Andre the Giant and other wrestlers were like at WrestleMania 1 pushed the ring on wee mini wrestling rings. I'd be at the front of the Loyalist band parade, being like this. The night, another night, da 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 da. It'd be styling down the front of the Shankill. Oh, was a penny arcade. Hey. Like Hulk Hogan. Hey, brother, play the sash, brother. What you gonna do when the Protestant boys go wild on you, dude? Boom shakalaka. But yeah, if I played anything, I'd like to play the drums. Not these ones. I just like, you know, proper. And I mean, that's probably a genre of video I watch the most on YouTube. Do you ever just drum tutorials? Like there's a guy called El Cibriano Esperanto, or El Cibriano. He's just the best drummer I've ever seen. Just watch his videos flat out. And also Jay Weinberg, the drummer from Slipknot. I just watch his wee drum cameras flat out. Are you looking at Estepario El Cibriano? I think he's called. And you know, by the way, I should say his name for his YouTube channel. Estepario El Cibriano. I'll keep that one for later. Ashley Coyle has said, why do people proudly feel the need to put up their Christmas decorations early? Because people need to be. This is the thing. See, nowadays, people are so like, you just do what you want. You do you. You do you. Don't worry about anything else. Don't you worry about society. There are rules in society and norms to be adhered to for a reason. Don't have your Christmas decorations up in November. I walked past someone's house today and they had Christmas lights up on the 7th of November. You know what you should be able to do to those people, Ben? Steal their houses. Go in with a big saw and just, cut it off the foundations and lift it like I lifted that old woman off the ground. And just, you should do at people's houses? Go and throw it in the sea. Just fucking push it in the sea. See ya. Fuck you. Why do that? Like, we've said on this podcast before, at the very earliest, December 1. No sooner. And you can do a bit later. You can do later, but no sooner than December 1st. Because otherwise, it's just companies making money. It's commercialization. But I think actually people who proudly, if you're proud about it, I mean, it's the theme of the episode, you're a nonce. There you go. Naomi has said something that I can't actually read on this week's podcast because it's happening again at the weekend and I don't want to give the surprise away, Shimon. Hee hee. Smitty has said, what would your wrestling name be, your walkout music, and your dream opponent? Well, I mean, following on from what I said earlier, my wrestling name would be Davey, LOL. And I would dress like a bandsman. And my walkout music would be, of course, Penny Arcade / Simply the Best mixed into Sash. It'd be a mashup, like, the 5 mega mix, except it'd be just the Loyalist mega mix, and that'd just be, and then bits and pieces at the end, ding 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 ding. That's what I'd do. I'd have, I play those drums, I guess. I'd have those, but I'd beat the fuck out of them, the bits and pieces, ding 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 ding. They'd be all stunned and all, and then when they're stunned, I would hit them like the lamb bags punches to the head, and it'd be a fucking, and then I'd pin them, and then I'd get my flute and go. Anyway, what a way to finish. John Joe has said, wondering why you and Ben think it's okay to wash your ass first and then your dick and balls. Well, because your ass is always the dirtiest. Like, Ben and I, have always kept, like, one thing we always do before we start recording the podcast is clean our wee willies. We make sure they're always clean. The bum you can't always maintain. It's not naturally clean. It's not a self-cleaning bum. Or like I was going to say like organ or tool, but it's also not a self-cleaning bum. I just think my bum smells worse than my dick. We'll do a video on Patreon where we'll do a sniff off. We'll do a scratch and sniff, and we'll see what smells worse and what you should wash first. But yeah, I also what I like is if you go the route, we've been through the show, go check out last week's podcast, but if you go down from the chest down the back, what I also do, I didn't go this far, is like when I wash my bum, my hand goes down through my legs and underneath, and it comes up, and then I wash my willy, and then I come right back up from underneath and like wash my face and do my hair and all too, and then that's how I shower. But guys, listen, Ben, go home and start editing this week's podcast because there's been a lot of edit points. I mean, it's going to be a hard shift this week, but enjoy it, guys. It's been a real random episode. It's been fucking nothing that we had thought it was going to be, nothing that we had planned, but it is what it is. This is the joy of the Sly Guy podcast. If you haven't already liked and subscribed, I don't care, do it, please. Subscribe to YouTube, watch it, share it in your stories, have a bit of crack, get involved. We're going to start a wee community thing on the Patreon as well. We're going to work on that whenever I'm fucking full time, which is in 4 weeks. So yeah, get behind that, and also get tickets to my Ulster Hall show, Pillowtalk, at the Ulster Hall, December 17th. It's Black Eye Friday, so be safe in the Ulster Hall. I've got wee cubby holes installed at the front where you can pour oil on any people who want to give you a decking on Black Eye Friday. Guys, enjoy your week. Take care.
I'm the Sly Guy.